DocSend charges $300 just to send a freaking PDF? Hey there, I'm Deqian, the founder of Peony. Today I'm exposing just how much a ripoff DocSend really is. We'll break down what it actually does, what it really costs to build it in 2025, and why you should never pay $300 a month just to track open your files. I'll walk you through the tech behind it, the real costs, and what smarter founders are doing instead. This isn't a rant, it's a teardown. Let's go. Alright, so today we're going to cover 5 topics. We're going to talk about what is DocSend, its features, and I'm going to break it down, and how much it's going to cost in 2025, and lastly I'm going to share with you what to use instead if you want to avoid the DocSend ripoff. Alright, so what is DocSend? Let's look at their website. So DocSend is a secure file sharing and document tracking tool. It's useful for fundraising, sales, and marketing. It basically lets you upload a file, generate the tracking link, and share the link with others. So whoever views your document, you can see how long they're spending on your document, and also you can add additional security settings like password protections and NDA. It's quite popular among founders to pitch deck data rooms and sales materials, but its pricing is a total ripoff. If you look at the monthly pricing, you're looking at $300 per month just to send data rooms, or $65 per month if you don't need the data room. And let's see what they actually offer. Now I'm in DocSend. So if I want to use DocSend to share files with my investors or my sales prospects, what I will do is hit the upload button and select files and pick the file I want to upload, and then DocSend will now upload to the document, and then it will let me generate tracking links from the document. God, this is really slow. I mean, the file has finished upload, but I have to wait for it to finish processing to use it. Now it's finished processing, let's go ahead and create a tracking link. I can set some additional settings here, like require an email to view, add a password protection, add allow downloads, set an expiry date, add a welcome message, and once I'm here, I can hit create link, and then now I can use this link to share with whoever I want, share the document with. Okay, now let's see how it looks like. Now we're on the recipient view of my DocSend link. So the unique feature of DocSend is that before I'm allowed to see my file, I'm asked to enter my email address. Right here, I'm just going to put my email address, and I'm going to hit continue. So as a sender, I can see how long my recipients are looking at my document. I'm going to flip the document. Nothing interesting, it's basically a PDF document, and they also have an ad at the end. So we just look at what it looks like on the recipient side. So now if I return to my document, you can see that I can see a visitor coming to my document, and they've spent 9 seconds on my file. And if I expand it, I can see where the visitor is coming from. It's coming from London, and how long they're spending on each one of my files. And I can also see aggregate data for all of my files, where they're visiting from. And that's pretty much it, right? That's the basic DocSend functionality. If you want to send data rooms to your investors, you will use what they call spaces, basically. And if I open my spaces, continue spaces, now I'm here. And I have this data room, and once I hit this data room, I can now add files from my content library to my data room and to share it with people, right? And I can create sections as well, and I can also set granular permissions on my data room, so I can restrict people having access to this data room. If I want to hide certain files, I can do that from the permissions feature. And remember that you have to upload your files to the content library first before you can add them to the data room. It's a bit confusing, but that's how DocSend works. So this is basically it. This is basically DocSend, right? You can use it to share single files or create the data rooms. You get a bit more features if you want to use the data room, but not very much. You can add a banner image, a logo, and that's pretty much it. Now let's look at the most interesting bit. Let's break it down and see how much it costs to actually build in 2025, and how big a ripoff when they're charging $300 a month just for you to send and track your files. Now let's break down some depth. So let's look at this basic feature list. It allows you to upload your files, It allows you to create tracking links, and it allows you to view your files, and it allows you to add security settings to your links, and it allows you to create photos, and it tracks how much time you spend on each one of the pages. So page by page analytics. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think these are core functionalities of DocSend. If we break it down, we're basically designing an app that lets you do these 5 or 6 things. So of course, this is not everything that DocSend offers, but if you build a product that allows you to do these things, it basically ticks all the boxes. Now let's tear it down and see how much it actually takes to build a product that ticks all the boxes. So in order for us to upload files, we probably need a bucket, so storage bucket. And of course, we will need a backend and a frontend for the app. So we need a backend for the app, backend server, and we will need a frontend client. And in order for you to view your files, we will also need a document viewer. And more specifically, because we want to be able to track page-by-page analytics, the document viewer needs to be able to support page-by-page analytics. Basically means that we need to be able to know which page you're on. And you should allow us to also track how much time you're spending on one of the pages. Data on which page you're on. And lastly, we have to have real-time analytics, so that whenever somebody logs onto the product, and then we would be able to send analytics to our backend and also be able to view them. So we will need a analytics provider. And of course, we will need a database for us. So yeah, I think this is pretty much the setup in terms of how we would actually architect it. Let's break it down even further. Let's go step by step. So first, you would need authentication. So what would we use for authentication? There's so many services, so many providers these days. You can use Supabase. You can use NextAuth. You use Clerk. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. I'm not going to go into the details there, but I'm just going to list a few options to help us break down the architecture. And once you have the authentication, we will need a database. So yeah, you can either use a NoSQL database or SQL database, but I'm just going to presume we're using a SQL database here for the ease of modeling, and it gives us more data integrity. So I'm just going to use a SQL database. Well, these days I prefer to use serverless architecture, which means that I'm probably going to use like a serverless managed database rather than setting up my own AWS. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm probably going to use services like Supabase, Neo, or similar equivalent, whatever you want to use. So that is the database provider we're going to be using. So now what else do we need? Of course, we will need the actual backend of the product. So backend/server. Again, 2 options here. I can either go with the AWS approach, clean up my own server and serve my documents there, or I can just do something like Vercel. I mean, again, I prefer the serverless stack because it's just easy to set up. So I'm going to write both, Vercel, AWS. So that's probably going to be what I'm using. If I'm using Vercel, that probably means I'll be using Next.js for the frontend as well, so that I can leverage their Next.js full stack ecosystem. So, all right, that's the backend /server. And now let's look at the front end, right? If I'm using Next.js, of course, front end is going to be in React. And of course, the document viewer, one thing you might not know is viewing PDF in the browser is actually not trivial, right? I know it's commonplace, but it's not easy to do. So you will need separate libraries for this because we can't use browser's inbuilt library because we will need page-by-page analytics to the document viewer. So, we can either use some React libraries or some commercial libraries out there, right? So the most popular one is probably React PDF viewer, or, there are other commercial libraries out there that allows you to do that. Analytics provider. So I guess there are several approaches you can take to analytics. You can either just use the SQL database, and whenever somebody visits a website or visits the document, and then I'm just going to ping my database. Or if I want more performant result, I'll probably be using something like ClickHouse. Again, if I'm using a managed service, I'll be looking at something like Tinybird that actually lets me build real-time analytics really quickly. So that would be my analytics provider. And there you go. You pretty much have the full stack. Maybe I'll add an have, so email, notifications, right? And if I'm using, some of the libraries like Recent or what's the other one? Trivial, right? Send/SendGrid. Recent is pretty good, but my biggest complaint with Recent is that rate limit is a bit crazy, right? It only allows you to send 3 emails per second. That seems insane in 2025. But that's what I'm using. But maybe somebody's gonna pick this up and improve the situation. Anyways, so I think this is pretty much the full stack, just for the ease of spinning up something really quickly. I'm probably gonna use Superbase, the full stack, right? The database, the authentication, and then using Next.js plus Vercel. And of course, I'm gonna use Tailwind plus ShadCN for my front-end UI components. I'm going to use Tinybird and add Recent to it. And that's pretty much it. So this will be my stack for building DocSend in 2025. All right, and now let's cost it and see how much it actually costs you to build something like this. All right, let's go item by item. So Superbase, let's go to the website and check how much Superbase costs. Look at the pricing. All right, so the Pro tier costs you $25 per month. And let's say we're starting from low volume and starting from the Pro tier, right? So I'm going to say $25 per month for Superbase. I don't know if I'm going to use the storage here. Let's see how much storage they actually offer for it. I'm going to search quickly. So storage. So, right, so they offer 100 GB of storage. Not a lot, but if you're just looking at documents, 100 GB can probably last you for a while. So I'm going to go with them for now. But if you want other options, we can also look at the buckets, right? So we have AWS, S3 pricing. Let's see how much AWS costs. God, it's actually so hard to find AWS price tables. Okay, there you go. So first 50 TB. Well, that's AWS tables. No. All right. So, okay. So the first 50 TB, that's 0.023 per gigabyte. And let's just say 1 TB, that would be 1,000 gigabytes, roughly. So $23 for 1 TB. And let's say we're using, God, that's kind of expensive. What alternatives are there? So Cloudflare R2, that's another alternative. Let's look at R2, how much they cost. R2 pricing. So R2 pricing, they cost $15 per TB. What else are there? I know Backblaze 2, I know it's another commonly used storage bucket. So let's look at the pricing, B2 Cloud Storage, so $6 per TB. All right, you know what? I'll just take the average, right? Let's say we're paying $20 per month. 1 TB. Okay, so all right, what else do we have? So Next.js, Vercel. Okay, let's look at Vercel's pricing. The website's kind of slow. So Hobby, I don't think the Hobby tier lets you do much. If you want to see ICD, you probably need the Pro tier and also the analytics. All right, well, I'm just going to assume we will pay for the Pro tier, and that's another $20 per month for Vercel. And Tailwind, ShadCN, both of them are free. And let's check Recent's pricing. Again, I have to say Recent's 3 email per second rate limit is ridiculous. If somebody sees this, they should absolutely fix it. All right, so 50 emails per month. I think you can probably get away from 3,000 emails per month, right? You consider 100 emails per day. That's quite a lot. But you know what? Let's just, for the sake of argument, we assume we have quite a lot of users, and I'm paying $20 per user per month for Recent. All right, now let's look at Tinybird's pricing. So for $0 per month, I get half a virtual compute and 10 QPS. And for $25, I'm going to get a quarter compute. I don't know why I'm getting a quarter. And on the free tier, I'm actually getting half. This is very interesting. So I can send 1,000 queries per day, whilst I'm not under this rate limit for the developer tier. But you know what? Let's just assume we have quite a lot of visitors, and I'm going to actually need the $25 tier. I don't think we will need that much CPU because what we're doing is super simple. So let's say we pay $25 per month. Bird. All right, and that is our cost of builds. That's pretty much it. Am I missing anything? I don't think I'm missing anything. So let's do a quick calculation. So that's 20, 29, 60, 25, 25. That's like 50. So in total, we get $110 per month for the entire app. So, and this is how cheap it is to build a SaaS app in 2025. And versus what DocSend is actually charging you $300 per seat. This is just ridiculous, right? And now we've looked at a full breakdown, exactly what goes behind DocSend. And there's no magic, there's no bells and whistles, right? Maybe they provide more maintenance or a bit more security features, but it totally doesn't justify the $300 price tag. All right, so now what to use instead? So if you're done paying DocSend $300 per month to share Dan VDM, here's the good news. That's exactly why we built Peony, the AI native file system where secure data runs come built in. No extra tools, no bloat pricing, and you can send beautiful trackable data runs for under $50. Right, I'm going to drop the URL here right now, peony.inc. And you might wonder, how come we're able to be so cheap? It's because we're basically building it as an AI native file system, and secure file sharing just comes out of the box. That's why we don't have to rip people off, hike up the price artificially, and that's the secret behind it. All right, so that's it for today. Check out Peony, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, this video, let me know. I can make more of these. If not, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.